Marcus Carlson's here. Marcus, first up, some job numbers out of the United States. Talk us through them.
Yes, hi there, Tom. Hi there, everyone. The jobless rate in the United States edged higher in February. That rate came in at 6.7%, which is slightly above the figure that we got through in January or for January. Now, you would think that this uptick would be a letdown, but that's not the case, at least not this time around. This, as the U.S. economy added 175,000 jobs during February, which was higher than expected. Hiring is accelerating again after disappointing figures from January and December. Let's see if we can get you the trend that we have seen in the past few months or so. The next graphics that we have for you, you'll see there that 175,000 jobs were added in February, which is more than in December and January. Why then is the jobless rate heading higher even though there are more jobs? Well, a surge in the size of the labour force is seen as the main reason. People who may have stopped looking for work are starting to do so again, and that makes them part of the labour force again. So in one way, it is good news. Now, stocks, they got a boost in the immediate aftermath of those figures, but the enthusiasm has since fizzled out. This hour, with around about 42 minutes to go of trading, we're seeing Wall Street stocks mainly trading on the downside. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is the only one out of the main indices over on Wall Street to trade in positive territory. Now, in Europe earlier, the indices also closed in negative territory. Geopolitical tensions between the West and Russia over Ukraine are seen to be weighing on those stocks. The Frankfurt DAX in particular took a real hit. It was down more than 2%. And if we take a look at the latest developments, or some of the latest developments coming in when it comes to the Ukraine crisis, Gazprom warns that it could cut gas exports to Ukraine unless the country pays its debts. The Russian energy giant says Ukraine owes it nearly $1.9 billion. It brings back memories of 2009 when the gas giant cut exports over a pricing dispute. Europe also felt the pinch then, as most gas from Russia to the continent goes through Ukraine. Gazprom says that the rest of Europe would not be affected in case it turns off the taps to Ukraine. We're going to move on to some other developments when it comes to the Ukraine crisis. The foreign minister of France has warned that Russia's economy will take a hit if relations with Europe deteriorate further. It's been a volatile week in Russian stock markets, partly on concerns over Western sanctions against Russia. And speaking on French radio earlier, Laurent Fabius also outlined the steps that could be taken by the European Union looking ahead.
It could be freezing assets, it could be cancellations, it could be refusing visas, and if another attempt is made, we will consider other things. That's to say, serious consequences relative to the relationship between Russia and Europe.
Now, in French corporate news, the steel company Asco Metal has gone into administration. It's seen as another headache for the French government, as around 1,900 jobs may be in danger. Joe Tandy has more details.
6 months to find a buyer. Weighed down by declining European demand, Asco Metal, once one of the stars of the French steel sector, entered administration following a court ruling on Friday. With the company operating 6 plants across France, Industry Minister Arnaud Montebourg said the government will do all it can to save the firm.
The coming weeks will see the finalisation of the takeover bids for the company, its 1,900 employees, its customers and its suppliers.
Among companies said to be interested, Brazilian steelmaker Gerdau and private equity firm Anchorage. For now, though, Paris is keeping details under wraps. The administration decision comes after talks between Asco Metal's owners and their creditors collapsed. For 3 years, Apollo Global Management had owed €360 million to lenders Morgan Stanley and Bank of America. To cancel Apollo's debt, the banks demanded a greater stake in Asco Metal's capital. Apollo were unwilling to accept. Meanwhile, many aspects of Asco Metal's business, such as specialist steels for the car and oil industries, remain profitable. Paris, for its part, wants to avoid what would be the third biggest redundancy plan since the socialist-centred office 2 years ago.
OK, we're going to finish up with a question. If this man didn't start Bitcoin, then who did? Newsweek said on Thursday that it had tracked down the creator of the virtual currency near Los Angeles. The magazine said Dorian Nakamoto ticked all of the boxes, including education and even writing style. He, however, did not like the attention, and he also denies having anything to do with Bitcoin. So the question is, who actually created the virtual currency? I didn't. I can tell you as much. Back to you, Tom.
Trust you to leave us on a cliffhanger there. Marcus Carlson with the latest business news. Thank you very much indeed. Well, coming up next here on France 24, we're going to find out what's happening online. Web news is next.